So phone watch this.
Don't while we're in don't while we're in motion to watch. There'll be too many of us. Okay, Sean, we about ready? Just let me know when we hit live because we're about to hit YouTube. So we'll just intersect into the radio when we come on. Because they're going to intermingle each other. Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday, happy Saturday. My name is Tamuri Richardson. This is Tea Talk, a Global Vibe. Happy New Year to everyone that is here. Thank you for hanging in there with us and meeting us into the new year. I'm with Power 88.fm. I am your live radio host as well as your new podcast host as well. So I just want to thank you guys for being with us. We've got an amazing conversation today. And thank you, everybody. But before we get into our conversation today, I want to again wish everybody a happy new year. As usual, we'd love to hear from you. I have to write my number down. I never remember it on time. So, remember it off the top of my head. It's 601-588-8836. So don't forget, you can call in at any time at 601-588-8836 to Power 88.fm. Those of you who are listening out there in radio land. And if you'd like to, if you're on YouTube and you're listening, go to @Tamuri Richardson on YouTube and you can catch us live. And we are going to be excited to get all of the comments and everything that you got to say and your energy and all of that. So as I have promised, I have a wonderful program today. Every first Saturday of the month, we're going to have a panel. We've had a panel about relationships before, but this is something a little bit different. You know how you always hear about the First Wives Club and we talk about women and navigating divorce. Well, we have two men here today, two wonderful men here today, and we're going to talk about kind of like the First Husbands Club. What is it like navigating the world of divorce, being a husband? How do you navigate it with kids? How are you able to move on and transition into life? But before we get into that, we're going to get into a little bit of news because we're going to have a wonderful, robust conversation. If you would please go to YouTube, if you're already on there, click like and click subscribe so we can have you as a subscription and you can get these notifications on a regular and a weekly basis. Not only that, but we love your comments. So put your comments in the comment box so we can hear what's going on, what you think, if you want to ask these gentlemen question, or if you want my extremely sound, knowledgeable advice. I know that's what I'm told. That's what it's on my first note. So anyway, please put that in the comments and we'll be able to do that. So let's get into a little bit of local news before we introduce these gentlemen and we get into a great conversation. I don't know how many of you are excited, but of course, January 20th, on top of being Dr. Martin Luther King's holiday in recognition of his birthday and all the wonderful things he's done, it is also the inauguration of President-elect Donald Trump. So love to hear your thoughts and your ideas. A lot of you sometimes are not comfortable on the phone, so you'll email me and text me. Keep it up, whatever makes you comfortable. But I'd love to know. Personally, I've made it very known, very clear that I did not support either candidate. I will, however, show respect for whoever's the president. We just have to move forward. It is what it is. I'm not either one of the major parties, but I'm looking forward to seeing what President Trump is going to do. I'm looking forward to seeing how he's going to do this mass deportation, if it's going to have sensitivity, if it's going to be like a television show where he's winding everybody up, putting up in trucks and dumping them off at the border. So interesting kind of knowing that. Would love to hear what everyone else is thinking. But let me know next week what your inauguration stories. I know quite a few people that are going out there. I think it's important to be a part of that process. And as much as we are excited about the presidential election, it's really nothing compared to your local politics and your local candidates. So I'm going to always continue to push that. January 20th, the Solano County Black Chamber is hosting their MLK community event. It is free to the community. And it is an event that is going to have singers, speakers. I am going to be one of the speakers there as well. It's just going to be an event about unification, unifying the community, and how do we move in a less segregated world? Because we've really gotten into a lot of segregation where it's pro this, anti that. And I think we all know that that was not Dr. Martin Luther King's dream. So we're going to have a beautiful event. It's going to be at the Solano County Fairgrounds. For that's okay. For registration information, go to www.solanoblackchamber.com. That is www.solanoblackchamber.com and register. Registration is required. I don't want you to get to the gate. You got to go back home. All right, then. So we're going to get into introducing our guest here. We've got a great, really robust conversation. And listen, this is not to attack any first wives or any women or any men. This is a conversation. You know, nobody tells you when you get married what to do, how to do. We oftentimes don't have mentors to navigate that conversation. And then even nobody tells you how to get divorced. They don't tell you how to get divorced amicably. They don't tell you how to get divorced when you have children. And so this is a great opportunity and conversation where maybe they can give out some advice. You can pick up some advice. If you have questions about how they've been able to do it and navigate it, then we can do that as well. So we're going to get ready to get started. I'm going to start an introduction from the middle, and we're going to take it to the gentleman at the end. If you'd like to introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, my name is. I live in back. Happy to be honored.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Sherbert, for being here. We appreciate it. And our gentleman at the end.
My name is Bruce Duke.
Excellent. Well, I guess the lesson we've learned here, women, is that men, in fact, they'll get divorces. Note to self. All right, so let's just start off, and I'm going to start off with you, Sherbert. How long were you married?
I was married for 7 years.
Absolutely. Okay. Were there any children within the marital arrangement?
No, when I married my wife, she had two lovely kids. Contact every day. They're doing their own thing. They're teenage. They're in the.
Now, let me ask you a question, because when you are married into stepchildren, that's a very different dynamic. Did you find that when you got married to your first spouse, is that it was something that was receptive, that you felt like she was looking for someone to come in and pick up the slack as far as having a male counterpart to help navigate that? Or did you feel like some men may feel like they can't say anything to the kids, they're extra, you're just here to be seen? Or did you feel like you really wanted to be a part of that?
I didn't really, when I was younger, I didn't feel like she was going to really take care of them. But I'm old school, so I was together, so I knew what I was getting myself into. There come issues as far as because I wasn't allowed. That was kind of a big issue. But we best over things that I would raise my son or daughter. And I said, because he had ways and I had, and the community was always great, but for the most part, it's like, it's not going to happen. In my situation, in a sense, to try and discipline not going to happen. It's certain other little things pick and choose.
Right.
And that made it. They were my biological. I don't think it would have been as difficult as it would be.
Right.
But yeah, my biological kids, there were certain around a little bit.
Yeah.
Be a little bit more cautious of how I dealt with certain.
Yeah, I appreciate how you say that because here's the thing. Most people don't think about that, men and women. When you're marrying someone with kids, you need to have that conversation. What's the discipline look like? Is the father involved? If you're expecting me to assume mother and father responsibility, or am I allowed to take on discipline, whatever that might be? And when you don't have that conversation, the person is raising them based upon their own cultural experience. And that's what, okay,
I agree too.
absolutely. All right, were you gonna say something else?
And that was kind of an issue as well, because we weren't both founded in the same, I thought we were, but down the line, so it didn't especially discipline had to take place.
Right. Right.
No, certain time I'm stick. I know that if I don't sit that time,
Right.
so it had to be. I wasn't stuck.
Absolutely, absolutely. Respect that very much so. Let's segue on over here to Lewis. So, Lewis, you and the relationship with your first spouse when you left out of that situation, or you guys got divorced and you had children, how did you navigate divorcing with children and making sure that the children didn't feel divorced?
I believe that I was in a sense trying to show kids I had a good relationship. Show that the kids, in a sense, my parents, but we still, I would all, being able to raise the kids together even after divorce, being involved because they were at a younger age to get divorced. Really raise them together. And spending time with them, not making sure I was available. When I got divorced, during the work week, commuting after, middle of the week, just to spend time. Just so they knew that's it. Kids don't care. They just want to either be together or get a situation or the father. Living there.
Right.
That's how I kind of know. Coming to daughter, did ballet and basketball. So just being there. And they see the ball, in their mind, they're like, oh, parents. My dad is always going to be around. Folks. It affects the kids. So just stay involved.
Excellent. Now let's talk about discipline as well, because this is a different dynamic. Once you leave the home, then the discipline structure can change. But kids can also look at you like, well, you're not here anymore. You don't get to tell me what to do. You're not, Did you find that to be navigated different as well when you left the home structure, that maybe you lost a little bit more control over the kids than you had before?
Absolutely. As I feel that ex-wife she was more of the stern one. She was more of the disciplinary. I was more of the laid back, have fun, you do something wrong, kind of just shrug it off. At the same time, over time, I realized I was being taken advantage of. They'll take advantage. The kids will take advantage.
In a minute.
And I remember my ex-wife telling me, like, look, these are your children, they're not your friend. I always kind of, because You don't think about things when you're on the inside because they are. You see other people's kids doing it. I've seen it. So yeah, I think the structure was different. Maybe every other week. Yeah. And they knew to an extent they had more freedom.
They were running in the streets naked, basically.
Yeah, to an extent, yeah, you know, you kind of have to reel them in. You know? If you don't, they will take advantage. And when they go home, you know, mother's calling me or asking like, you know, they had a wild weekend at your house, and I got to try to reel them back in
Right.
for the rest of the upcoming week. Yeah, trying to have that balance. It was difficult at times because, you know, as a parent, it's for the weekend, or my ex-wife would say, have every weekend if you want. This much time, there's no limitation, you know.
Very good.
Which is good. So I tried to do that as well, but I also try to have life balance.
Very good. Let me let Sherbert jump in here really quickly. You want to make a comment?
Yeah, you said something about the discipline part. That was the toughest part, especially as my son teenage. So, during that time, they're going to test you, they're going to do this. And you're just saying it's kind of like my wife, like, kind of just like go free. Like, yes, be stern, but don't be. And the sternest, where we're going to be in. So get that out. I try to keep that. With that stern in there.
He is not saying literally. Nobody knocking on my door. He just told up his business.
I didn't put hands on the that, but I want them to understand that I'm your parent. Whatever happens, I'm there for you. I'm not consistent, acting fool. The discipline part of old school thing. I didn't understand that.
It's different when you're growing up and your dad's looking down at you.
Yeah.
Got the belt on, he's grinning, he's grinning like, yeah, I can't wait to dig in here. It's gonna hurt me more than I'm like, no, it's gonna hurt me. It's gonna hurt you.
Like, hey, I was getting my book.
Right. So, but it's hard to have that balance sometimes. You want to discipline your children, but you also want to see, I don't want to say how far they can go, but you want them to pursue. Because if you don't, and I learned it the hard way, and I'm still learning the hard way, they will take advantage of you, they will disrespect your time. 10 years. It's challenging.
It's certainly can be.
Sometimes, it's hard, and you throw up your hands sometimes and say, where do I go from here? Or sometimes I tell myself, you know what? Just let him do what he's going to do, or let her do what she's going to do, because they're going to see that the choice they make is you got to learn on your own.
Fathers will think that mothers don't, because mothers are usually the ones that have the kids.
Disciplinarians.
So, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's all I was doing. They got over.
You try to instill in them, right from wrong at an early age, because I've, again, seen kids grow up before my eyes with friends, kids run over their, you see them in the store, and you're like, I just act this way. Right? I'm like, and then you start thinking, if that was me at that age,
right?
Because they act that way.
It's going to be that question. It's going to hurt me more than my mom would always tell us to not embarrass you.
Right.
Or my dad would say. So, yeah, we would take, at the time, when I was married, we would always, hey, blah, blah, blah. And as a parent, it feels good to hear that.
Yeah, excellent. So let me ask this, Sherbert, I'm going to take this over to you. Your divorce, was it amicable? Was it, easy breezy? Was there difficulty to it?
My divorce was, it was more than.
Now, was it difficult because either she wasn't ready, wasn't prepared for the divorce, or maybe 'cause some people divorce because they have to, not because they want to, because it's the best thing for if they're in a toxic situation, or was it something that you both knew that somebody's got to do?
I don't want to quickly mind, but as of circumstances, I would, it is not a decision I just came up with
Sure.
because I was very disciplined as far as family. At a certain point, I don't want to me, it was,
Yeah.
I don't know what she felt.
Thank you very much. And thank you again too for our Power 88.fm listeners, for Power 88.fm. This is Tea Talk Global Live. We're going to be taking a quick little ad break. And Power 88, we will be right back. But YouTubers, we will still be on the line, so stay in there with us. Excellent. I want to ask Lewis the same thing. Was this amicable for you, or was this something that had to just happen?
It was a combination of both. I think it was definitely, and I think it was, I know I didn't want it to, I know.
I heard you was crying a lot, and that's just what I heard.
Well, I really enjoyed being a family unit. I really enjoyed the good times. I always try to weigh the good from the bad. I enjoyed a lot of the good times. It was toxic for both of us. And, sure, saying, stay in it and have to. I didn't want to make
True man.
Yeah, I didn't.
True man.
Not that I was scared to, but I guess because I was like this.
Yeah. Okay, on that we'll segue. But go ahead, Sharon.
Yeah, that was, well, I didn't want to just, man, I guess that it wasn't something that I felt like you said that.
Excellent. And welcome back. Welcome back, Power 88.fm. We are also live on the radio, and thank you guys so much for hanging in there with us. We are having a conversation about transforming lives, First Husbands Club. We talk about women all the time and how they navigate through divorce, and they're single mothers, and they have to take care of the kids and all these different things. But we never spend time segueing into men. There's men who also are first husbands. How do you navigate? What does that look like? So we're having that conversation here today with Sherbert and Lewis, and we really appreciate them both for being here. Now, being that neither of you wanted to push the button on it, right? But when you leave a relationship when one party is not ready to go, then that's going to be something else. Because it's different when you're both like, okay, when you breathe, I want to chop your neck off. Okay. But it's different when, even though you might not know it's the best relationship, I've been married twice. And so I filed for divorce twice. So you may not want to, but you have to. So when you're navigating, how do you deal with that? How do you deal with a spouse, even though you both know you're now filing, you or the other person's filed for divorce? And you were trying to move on, but move on with grace. Because there's a difference, men. There's a difference from moving on. And men don't do this well. Let me just segue here really quick. Men don't do this well. The worst thing you can do as a man is you can segue and you can decide that I'm going to get a divorce. And the next thing you know, you're showing up with some little bow-legged toothless tart. And then you just left your whole marital arrangement. Like sometimes how you leave doesn't have to just be about you. It should be about that woman that at one point you loved and spent time with, and those kids that are a product of that. how do you navigate the anger, the displaced anger often? Because when you know it's over and you're just not ready, that's displaced anger. How do you navigate maintaining, if there was anger? I don't know, let me ask. Sure, but I'm gonna start with you. If there was anger, how do you navigate that and try to get it to a place, because you had stepchildren, and so you could have just been like, peace out, but that's not the man that you are. How did you navigate that to make sure you guys could at least maybe wrap back around to leaving in an amicable place?
Listen, first, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, respect for her, I had a conversation and
Mm-hmm.
so that's how I think both of them. So wasn't great. I did my best, not disrespect her.
Mm-hmm.
There was some said of me. And I did my best not down maybe with guilt.
Right.
At the same time, I'm not going to badmouth her because I had an understanding of how she felt because she probably didn't want to divorce. I didn't see myself being in a relationship longer. So even now, we don't typically talk.
Right.
Since I think we get to communicate a little bit, but that was about it. During that process, I felt comfortable in the house. I had to go over there, brother with me, sure that
Smart.
nothing she wanted.
Yeah, smart.
Not this, but it was just for both of them. Extent, but also decided that could go off for whatever reason, and I didn't want that, in that way. So
yeah,
there was some issues. It wasn't.
Gotcha. No, understood.
That's,
Now, Lewis, for you, were your children, what ages were your children when you got it?
My son was 5.
Okay, so that's even a different caveat, because now you've got small kids, and maybe the wife felt like you were leaving her with the kids by herself. I don't know, I'm just throwing stuff out there. How was yours, especially being with kids? Because Sherbert could have just left and never came back. Being an honorable person requires that you sometimes make sure that the person is comfortable with the segue. You had no choice, really. You had kids. So it was pertinent for you to have some type of, how was your departure of your divorce?
You know, it was difficult. When she and I got married, we both did it. Not having it never been. Done that. So to be in a relationship and marry somebody, children, was wonderful. Of 5 years, and then it was tough because peace of leaving home. Being around. So that was difficult. Yeah, I was sad. I was devastated. Again, I kind of, I think I was waiting for her to do, not me. I didn't want to. Your best. I'm like, I'm not doing it. You do it. And she did it. But that was difficult. Being on your own and house is quiet, used to the kids, you're playing with your children, you're having fun, you know, wife is there, you know, that piece of family unit, but that was just dead silence. You know, that was difficult. It took a long time to get over that. There were times even through talking about her, talking about, we even went to marriage counseling. But I would call her up. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard when you have small children, and, you know, you pick them up, and when you go to drop them off on the weekend, your daughter's crying, you know, son is crying. You're looking in the rearview mirror and you're waving to you. It'd be heartbreaking. It took a long time to get over that.
That sounds like a Lifetime movie.
Oh, could be. I was married. I don't.
Oh, this guy.
So,
They're like, hi, Daddy.
oh, they were. I mean, you know, it's hard.
Someone thinks a lot of himself.
Because again, we had so much fun.
Right.
And it's not like when they're living in a room, you can go have fun.
Yeah.
Drop them off and like, wow,
Yeah.
by myself.
Sure.
So,
So now you guys are out, the divorce is final. Let's just kind of, you know, segue past, right? How is the progression to dating? Are you still, for Sherbert, interacting? Because you still have stepkids that you have a relationship with. How do you introduce that portion of your life? Because I'm going to say this, you know, I was going to give my 13 cents. The women, well, I don't know. I know I can speak for me. I can't speak for women because I know quite a few women that have not done what I've done. I didn't date for years after I got divorced the first time, and after I was happily divorced the second time, skipping and hopscotching in the streets with jump rope. I didn't date for years because I wanted to get my kids to where, because the second marriage was so atrocious. But I wanted to get them to where they were out of school and getting ready for college. And I didn't want anything to come in between that to disrupt the peace. So that meant I wasn't gonna date for 5 years. I wasn't gonna, that was me. Men seem not to be able to do that long. And then the next day, so I'm gonna start with Lewis. How did you segue after you got divorced? How long was it? And I don't want nobody getting beaten up afterwards. So listen, First Wives, this has been a long time. Don't nobody get mad. But before you started dating, and how did you introduce that idea and concept with your first wife? Because you got kids.
yeah, and I think that's something that he and I talked about. They go out a day, not introduce anybody to me. And I was totally fine with that. Again, I've had friends, maybe one person this week, and your kids meet them, and then the next week they're dating somebody else, and kids meet them. I'm like, I'm not gonna be there. I'm not gonna be a revolving door for, you know, females that I, you know, on a date with, or kids. It took a long time, and the ex-wife knew it. I didn't date. We got divorced in 2010. I mean, I would go out with female friends or friends in general, just to go out and just get back out there. It felt weird. Going from being single to being married for 5 years, now you're single again. Like, it's changed.
But yet you navigated
You
that
have to.
weirdness.
You can't just, you know, you can't climb under a rock and not live it.
Right.
You can't. And you're gonna fall. Especially if you got so much on your mind already. Marriage, divorce, it can lead to depression. And I kind of felt myself getting to that. So, you know, you have friends that are good friends and they're, hey, you're doing this week. Nah, come on, you know, take your mind off that. While you start getting used to that. For me, I would go out with females, but it wasn't like I was dating anybody. And I enjoyed it. At the end of the night, I had a great time.
Excellent.
So, and then, you know, again, I wasn't in a rush to have an exclusive girl. I did years.
Gotcha. What about you, Sherbert?
Mine's just a little bit different. Mine's almost 5 years. And the first 2 years, so it wasn't like I had to, I didn't want to bring that I might have had when I was going through marriage. I didn't get baggage
Yes.
on the relationship.
Thank you.
So I did a date. I did like you. I did going out with groups and stuff, going out, hanging out, playing games, playing, playing racquetball. So I was really around the current. So like I say, feeling better, you know, I'm understanding my part, things I could have done better in my marriage, evaluating. I was still going through that divorce. So after this, I started taking things a little bit more serious.
Right.
As far as looking, or you want to use that word, but they look at more open. And I started dating.
Yeah.
Dating scene out there.
It's rough in these streets. Okay.
I mean, at that age, I was fairly good looking. I felt into I could pick any woman I didn't.
Right. Yeah.
Girlfriend, say it's not off the
Absolutely. What I love that you said was is that you felt damaged. And here is where men and women really mess themselves up. You're hopping from it's the example that I heard that when you have unprotected sex with one person, every person's having sex with every person you've had sex with. Because that's how the body mechanism is. And so when you jump out of a marriage into another relationship, as people do, you are bringing all that trauma from that other relationship without the ability to have had worked on yourself. I personally do not understand why people do not know or cannot navigate that at all. That you've got to do some healing and you've got to do some work on yourself. I think it's uber important before you just go jumping out there. I love the fact that you did that. Now, let me ask both of you guys this because you both mentioned you kind of go out with friends in a group, right? Did you find a mentoring? I find men have less mentors, like an OG that would come and say, hey, listen, keep your family together. Or let me help you navigate this. So since you are divorcing, you're leaving this with less pieces. That makes sense? Did you find anyone? Because I don't see that men have a lot of mentors. I know they got somebody to go to the club with, have their hat tilted and go find all the ladies. But I don't find many men stepping up saying, let me help you keep your family together. Or let me help you navigate how to do this so that y'all can leave as friends. Did you guys find in your friendship group anyone that wanted to pick up and was like, oh, well, that's what you're doing. Well, come on, let's just go out and forget about that.
Personally, I didn't. There was no milk. I did have a couple of. I'm talking about I asked myself, and I'm not going to.
Right.
I had issues as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's probably could have overcome. Given certain.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, I started asking a lot of women, about certain things. And they were kind of a little bit more of a mentor as far as trying to communicate than what I did ask because macho man, I'm definitely a person. I still hold actions speak out of the identity. So I felt like my actions how much I love my wife
Sure.
and my family. But now I understand more.
Sure.
They want to.
That's right.
Your actions. I won't say you didn't say that, but you have to say it. And sometimes it's hard to say that. Say something. I love you or whatever the case is. I don't have a problem saying I love you. When I was growing up, I heard that so much. So let's say I never get it. Therefore, I didn't words unless it's really, really happen. I'm meant to women, and I had that with them to was a protection like that. They like me and I like them, and
Right.
they understood what I was doing.
You can ask them questions from a woman's perspective.
Yeah,
Right.
that's exactly.
What about you, Louis?
Kind of the same thing. A lot of the male friends that I know, some were married, some were situation. Let's have guys don't do that type of stuff. None of my friends.
But do you think they should do that? Would you have benefited if some of your guy friends would have dug in a little bit to be more supportive of you and what you were going through, as opposed to trying to help you just get past it?
Maybe so. I mean, from a male standpoint, probably, because like, sure, I would have strictly treated friends. And, hearing a woman's insight as far as stuff, getting their side of it, try this, did you try that? Or, well, maybe she was upset. This, or, that's important. Guys think different. Like, that's one thing I've learned. But at the same time, it has to want to be.
Yeah. Okay, Sherbert, you had a point.
He said something. And a lot of my mistakes say a guy can ask me something like that. We don't talk.
Right.
I don't know if it's a logical thing or it's just that. And like I said, I had to real deep myself, evaluate myself. So therefore, because I understand things, that's why I ask questions. Women and be better.
Yeah.
Okay. So you said that about someone asked me my insight as far as
we need to normalize that.
Yeah, I need to. I don't mind hearing, but I'm not just gonna. Blah blah blah.
Right.
It's like you ask.
Yeah. And you can't always be so open because you don't know who might turn around and try to utilize things against you. But we have to normalize that, like we have to normalize mental illness and navigating and getting help. Men need those conversations, I believe. Men who are fathers need to help men who are fathers who don't have fathers. Other than that, how do you not, pass down genetically a predisposition to abandonment and dysfunction? And so we need to start normalizing, those different avenues. So I think that that's absolutely very, very important. And I think, as you guys are older gentlemen, as you see younger gentlemen that are maybe having something, it's okay to say, hey, look, I don't want to be in your business. I see you, I went through the same thing. And you're not asking me for my opinion, but if you need some support, you need some advice, we need more people. It was like back in the day when people would say, well, you can't talk to people's kids anymore. Well, we need to talk to people's kids if you see them doing something wrong. So just something I think about. Women will tend to do that more, and men really need to think about navigating that more. So, go ahead.
That's kind of difficult.
It
You know,
can be.
for guys, it's very difficult. Because we are who we are. And it's like, if I see one man, it's like, how do I approach it?
Yeah.
You know, I think back when I was high school.
Yeah.
You know, and they're right there, probably not. I'd be like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
you know,
Telling you something. Hold on just one second, Sherwood. Again, thank you so much, Power88.fm, to our live listeners. As usual, if you'd love to call in and give us your perspective, dial into 601-588-8836. That's 601-588-8836. And if you are out there in listening land, go on to YouTube at Tamuri Richardson, and then please comment live. And of course, this video will be up on recording, so you can check it anytime. And we will be right back. We have an ad for you on Power88.fm, YouTube. We are continuing. Go ahead, finish your work. Oh, man, just segue right on to
we were talking about
talking to the younger men.
yeah,
Young men.
it's difficult and difficult. You know, or I was younger, so for someone, I have to if I'm going. So, and then we start battling with that. They'll call them whatever you want to call it. It's just a difficult situation, especially for even my family members right now, my nephews. Tell them what to do. I see certain things. It's like, hey, how do I really do this without? So
Gotcha.
That's where I stand as far as most men are built.
We
in everybody's business anyway.
I didn't want to say that.
We know anyway.
But guys, yeah, you're right. Men are like, it's not like, hey, you shoot.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's like, you know, it's not like going to actors training into a pop. Okay, I get it. You're spilling your whole life out there to him, and he's looking at the clock like, okay, we got 1 minute left, okay, then this session is over. So, yeah, I've never the same. I think that's probably most of it. Unless you have you get a paper psychiatrist or someone to talk to, or you get a pastor or something like that, then we'll open up that opportunity.
Right.
I want to talk to you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Right.
You probably got your own problem.
Right. You know, it's growing up, you know, we don't learn, never talk about relationship in certain guys' mind. So that's
right.
That's mental psychology.
Yeah.
You know? So I guess it's one of the reasons why we don't talk about it. Poor men don't talk about certain things.
That's what we call it. Okay.
There's some guys that are out there. They'll tell you everything.
They'll tell you more than you want to know. Then it spreads like wildfire.
Absolutely. Welcome back, Power88.fm. Those that are listening live on the radio, we're having a wonderful conversation about segueing out of divorce for first husbands and how to be able to navigate that effectively when you have children, and how to be able to leave relationships amicably. Now, one thing I want to talk to you guys about is, it was on the top of my brain. This is why I should write stuff down. But let's talk about, so now you've gotten divorced. You're deciding that you're going to get into the world of marriage a little bit. Get into the world of dating, right? Are there, I'm going to throw this number out. You may not even have these many things. 3 things that you could work on that might have contributed to why that first marriage didn't work. Because I believe self-analysis, acknowledgement, are the steps to be able to, because if you can't acknowledge what you did wrong, and I like where you said, listen, it wasn't only for her, then you will go through relationship, and there's some serial men out there, and listen, women, I'm just going to say this, and again, I am not authority on relationships. Matter of fact, don't listen to nothing I say. I've had 2 divorces, but anyway, A man with 2 divorces and more, and these are not the views of Power 88.fm, because they're gonna be calling me, telling me, look out for that, because you don't want a serial married, or a man that gets married after relationship, because he ain't looking for love. He's looking for a tent and a place to live. So I'm just saying, segueing out. But 3 things that you guys think that you could have done better that might have contributed to your divorce. Oh, sure, thank you.
One of the major things. I didn't, and even I'm a little better now. Sometimes it's great. Question. Then it becomes blah. Then let it release all out.
Right.
Attack.
Can't take it back.
Right. But, Asian part. Contribute to that. And I've worked in community. Communication.
Well, I tell you what, we'll come back to you while you're thinking about it. Lewis, 3 things that you think might have contributed that you could do better.
Definitely communication. Reasonably respect. Sometimes you out and even though you will apologize for it, sometimes the apology is not being received. Say what you mean. Well, that's not what I meant. Even moment came out, and both ways. And then also trying to understand the other person wants not be safe. I think I've always have trouble trying to understand a woman. The third one, I think, just give each other, give her. I've been guilty of, like a case, too comfortable. Once things are, you need to know how to give the same attention, woman, throughout marriage as you did.
Very
I
good.
have been guilty. Not wanting to do fun stuff or just doing things in general.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And if you have children also, trying to be in their lives, I mean, again, all this. Sometimes it's hardest older, especially when you have a lot of new play yourself. At the same time, you got to look at the ex-wife like a lot too.
Yeah.
It ain't just about being greedy and selfish, going through her own.
Absolutely.
I don't need to know things I'm going through. She don't know. Kids are there in the middle. You try to be involved with teenagers. Something they don't want you.
Yeah. Agreed. One of the comments on YouTube said that men need safe spaces. Really true. So you guys have to create those spaces for yourself and for the younger generation so that they know how to navigate through these things. I'm going to segue back to you, Sherman.
Relationship. Very important. I mean, in our relationship, not that I was doing fine wrong,
Right.
looking back. small little things I did, you know, like play poker and stuff like that. When we came back down, I was out. But I don't think I can be secure in my relationship, which kind of gets back into the communication part as well.
Men needing safe spaces.
Yes, that's very.
Yeah.
I got to a point where I understood. I have a place to do that.
Yeah.
I couldn't. Very polite, very find out.
Right. I know yourself. Yeah.
Then I started irritating. I said, what should you call it? Right? Be a place to find out. Like I said, kids, wow, kids,
Yeah.
I just need space to find out.
Yeah.
In the five, like that's
Yeah.
okay. I got to
Yeah.
So,
Deep breath.
right. And keep, hey, dad, hey.
Right, right.
Pop up and everything, and then do the wife, and.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got about one switch, work day or whatever. It's like, if I mention.
Do you know when you get to turn those switches off? Before you have kids. Because she don't get to turn off no switches.
That's the point I made.
She don't get to
But I made
decompress.
that.
She can't go sit in the car. So don't nobody care about y'all. And I'm just kidding.
And that's why I say I was sensitive to
Right.
because there were
Yeah.
kids all day long,
Right.
you know, and this and that, but I'm out fighting the world,
Yeah.
just fighting inside that.
Sure.
So that's what I mean by, I guess I took that.
Yeah.
You know, you talk about selfishness. And I'm aware of that now.
Yeah.
So those are the things that I value.
Someone asked a question, and we're going to get this answered in like a minute or so because we're coming down to time. What urge of emotion what urge of emotion made during divorce drew you to a support group, or did anything make you feel like you wanted to go get help, but you didn't because maybe, you know, that toxic masculinity where we can't do it, but was there ever a feel where you thought maybe I need to get some help outside of together? A minute or less. Yeah, sure.
No, I did not. I want to go.
Yeah,
Like that.
sure.
You
don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Looking back on it, but I still not, you know, because it's private matters, you know, in my research. I talk to people, not just back.
Yeah.
I've always people that are older than me, that are more wise. They give me good information. Some I don't have information. Obviously,
Sure.
Course.
Yeah, yeah. Louis, minute or actually 30 seconds.
Yeah, same thing. I mean, I never reached out. Feel like I needed help? No. I feel like at this stage of my life when I go seek help, probably. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it's a waste of time. What is a counselor?
I heard that.
That's my thing. So yeah, I don't think I would kind of just battle it and deal with it yourself. It's difficult. All those different type of things. just in my.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Fair enough. No, totally understand. Well, listen, two things. I appreciate you guys both being on the show today. I want to thank everybody in Power 88.fm who are listening. Last little second of something, just want to kind of know, what advice would you give anyone that is navigating this 1 minute or less? What is something that they should make sure that they keep in mind while exiting a marriage in 1 minute or less?
Working in California.
And we taking half your stuff.
Be mindful of that.
We getting half your stuff, bruh.
If you do it in the habit, go that route. But it's going to take too long. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be less expensive because the court system, they're out there, right? The lawyers, judges, that's.
Yeah, you, Lewis. Yeah.
just quickly, I think just trying to be amicable. Try to, well, again, amicable if you have children.
Sure.
You have to be. I call it a life.
Oh, wow.
It's a life
He
sentence.
said, yes,
It's
Jesus.
the electric chair at times. You can't be. But, granted, your kids get older, but, is there a time and a place where you don't stay in contact with your ex, even as your kids get older? Sometimes I wonder. Or is it only at a certain age, up to age? 25 or 30, does mom still need to be involved? I don't know. But I wonder about it. Have to be that. Have children. If you don't have children, hey man, more power to you. You got the option of moving on.
Well, listen, I want to thank everybody. Lewis has been up here coughing with whooping cough, so we're going to let him go. Jeez, I have to edit these strings. But thank you guys so much for being here, being transparent. I think not only men, but women will be able to look back on this. I want to thank everybody with Power 88.fm. This is Tea Talk of Global Vibe. I am your host, Tamuri Richardson. Be on the lookout. Again, a couple of things that are going on in the county of Solano, and you can always find us at Tamuri at Power 88.fm. Thank you. Happy New Year to everyone. This is a wonderful Saturday. Thank you to Sherbert and Lewis, and we hope everyone has benefited from this. And don't forget to continue to comment. We'll be checking the comments afterwards, and have a happy Saturday, everyone. Bye-bye.